Hello and welcome to Functional Friday. I am honored and blessed that I have these guests with me here in person. Usually you're going to see my guests on a split screen and they're at their location, I'm at my location. And today it's Dr. Frisch and his wife Linda with me. We're going to talk about Shape Reclaimed, the story behind it, where it is today, and hopefully where it is that it's going to be in the future. So you join in while we just sit back and have some conversation. If you've got questions, feel free to make a comment on there. We will either respond to that comment later or we'll private message you as well. We don't typically respond to them live on this feed because we like this conversation to just flow. But again, don't hesitate to ask those questions. So thank you guys for joining me today.
Great to be here.
Good. Okay, so Shape Reclaimed, from my understanding, you're the developer of it here in St. Louis.
Yes.
And now there's over 300 practitioners throughout St. Louis and outside of Missouri.
No, 300 across the country.
Across the country. Okay, offering that, growing. I want to hear, how did it get developed? What was the inspiration there? And that's why you're here. That's why Linda's here.
My inspiration was this gal sitting next to me here. So Linda came to me, kind of grabbed me one day and she said, "You help everybody, but you're not helping me." And I said, "Well, there's nothing wrong with you." And she said, menopausal, a lot of stuff going on, and gained some weight. And she said, "Well, I just can't lose weight." So you could tell a story.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was counting every calorie, and I just absolutely hate counting calories. And I didn't put any more than 1,200 calories in my body. I hired a trainer and was working out with a trainer and just was diligent for 3 months. And at the end of 3 months, I lost 1 pound. One pound.
Well, and she also lost her mind.
I lost my mind.
That 1 pound was
Okay, well, that's crazy, ridiculously frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing everything right and you're taking better care of yourself than you ever have before, what we figured out is, you know, hormones are just crazy controlling and manipulative. And it was hard. It was just hard. I was so upset. I was just upset. And I wanted Todd and his brilliant detective brain to figure out what is going on and let's get this crazy thing fixed.
I think that's what we've learned as entrepreneurs or as business owners, is that oftentimes some of the greatest things happen through the challenges that we personally are having.
That's right.
So how did you then go about this?
Well, I never liked weight loss programs because they all failed. Everyone, if you were diligent, the Atkins diet, unbelievably effective weight loss. You will lose weight.
Right.
Until the moment you stop.
Right.
And you'll gain all the weight back and then some. If you just gain the weight back, that's one thing, but they all failed. So I realized that I had to take the same scientific and clinical approach to weight loss that I did to every other issue. I remember having an attitude early in my career about the word stress. It was always the female patient. "Oh, honey, you're stressed, take some Prozac." They didn't do that to men, but it did it to you.
That's so true.
And it frustrated me, and I was angry about it. And then one day I thought, you know, stress is real. And if it's real, there's got to be a chemistry behind it. So I bought more books than she was happy with.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Tons of books.
I'm a book person. That I just glean things out of books. And so I really hit the books, and I really understood stress and the chemistry behind it, and began developing a treatment protocol that looked at stress physiologically instead of a psychological issue. Not that there's not psychological components, but there's a lot of physiological aspects behind it. So I took that same mentality with weight, and I realized that it's not as much metabolism as people think it is. You certainly have your thyroid patients that it's a metabolic issue, but I realized it's more of a brain issue. And more than anything else, and it's not a psychological, it's a physiological brain thing. I was watching Dr. Oz, and So we have God and then there's Dr. Or maybe it's
I was gonna say, we always joke around when somebody walks in our doors and they talk about some random diet or protocol, we go, oh, Dr. Oz must have.
He promotes a lot of things. People say, hey, Shape needs to be on Dr. Oz. And we're like, no, we don't think so. We're doing good.
More power to him.
Right. Yeah, he's doing great.
He didn't say it exactly this way, but the gist of it was this. He said we have a part of our brain called the hypothalamus, and it sits right between our eyes, right? It's called the pituitary. It's part of our limbic system of the brain. And basically, and these are more my words, every day you wake up, your hypothalamus and mine and hers has to be satisfied. And there's only 4 things that make it happy. And the 4 things are food, sleep, sex, and exercise.
I was just gonna say, I know there have to be 2 S words in there.
No, but let's make it practical. Menopausal female, hot flash night sweat, she's not sleeping. Check.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Now, not sleeping. Knows she should exercise, tried to, but mostly tired enough that didn't exercise. So now check there.
Okay, but I was forcing myself.
Yeah.
But
you know.
Yeah.
most don't.
Yeah,
most. Then you have a puffiness about the female body,
Always being kind.
and not a good image when they look in the mirror. Where do you think the libido goes?
It's called muffin time.
The libido
Right.
doesn't go up, so now it doesn't see a plummet. So not sleeping, not exercising, not having intimacy. And again, the rule that our creator made was this little thing in our brain has to be happy.
Yeah.
And the thing that's left is food. So what food do you think makes it happy as quickest?
That gooey butter cake you were talking about earlier sounds good.
It's carbohydrates.
Yeah.
So now, we've seen the transition of diets. All fats are bad. Fats are awful. They make you fat. Pretty good. It's a lie. All carbs are bad. You have to do low carb, the ketogenic diet. It's a lie. It's whatever.
We believe in balance.
Balance is the key.
Yeah.
We believe balance
So
is the key.
we realized we had the food that had to be consumed could not be diet food. It had to be food that a creator made. My comment to patients when they say, what should I eat? I said, well, here's my rules. What you eat, it should be able to rot or spoil, and you should eat it before it does. And that's, if it doesn't rot.
That's a great way.
Absolutely.
That's a great way. We just spoke at Arco Construction yesterday with their wellness week. And when the basic thing that we always tell everybody where to start is when you're in the grocery store, walk the perimeter.
Absolutely.
Walk the perimeter, don't even walk down the aisles, and you're usually much safer and in a better place just doing that.
Well, we say in our patient guidebook, the food that we eat, everything that we, take in is going to do one of 2 things. It's going to build us up, restore us, repair us, or the body's going to look at it as a toxin. And it's going to try to figure out, what do I do with this? If it can't eliminate it through its normal body process, then the body is going to build fat cells and it's going to store it. And so we say, when you are sitting down before you eat, look at that food and say, is this good whole food that's going to repair me and restore me and keep me vibrantly healthy? Or is my body going to say, this is toxic, now what do I do with it? So, we've always been folks, when you work in healthcare for the decades that we did, and you watch.
Did I retire?
Oh my gosh, you can't get over how excited he is. But
This is why I took this opportunity, because he's actually in town right now.
But when you spend as many decades as we have working with patients and simply cleaning up their diets and watching what the human body does and how it can restore and repair and heal, it would be wrong for us not to live what we preach. So we're just people that eat clean, and we just do. But eating clean, doing everything that I knew to do right in my body, it wasn't working.
Right. So you created Shape. How long did that take you? And you were the guinea pig. You were the one that was.
Yeah, I'm primarily, but then we had a group of menopausal females that we asked to come on board to test this.
I actually, and I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, I coached a woman who worked with you early on in the program. And I don't know if she was maybe one of the test patients or she came right after, but you were the only one offering the product at the time. And I did a lot of the cooking for her.
Really?
So I would go, and that's how we started.
Yeah,
I had Greg making dressings and sauces just for me to be able to cook for her. at
Well,
home.
you know, you say you were the only one that did it. Well, there was no intention for SHAPE to become a national program.
Right.
Todd developed the product. Well, it started for me, but for his patients.
Yeah.
And so it was great and it was working. And then a lot of the local colleagues that have been studying under Todd heard about the success that he was having. And he's like, you know, the people were coming to us and saying, we want to try this product. And we had a lot of product when we made our own product. You know, you don't get to just order 12
Yeah,
bottles.
no.
You have to order thousands of bottles. And so we had a lot of product and we're like, okay, fine. You know, we'll share it with these great colleagues that we love. And then they were coming to our lunch hours and they were coming out to our house, and we had no life beyond, you know, teaching how to do this program. And that's where we were
Such
like,
a good time.
and Todd loved it. And I'm like,
Oh, did you love it?
he loved it. He loved it.
Yeah.
And I loved it because we're so passionate about helping people heal. And that was the great part, but we had no life. So we developed a patient guidebook and then a physician's technical guidebook. And then we started training symposiums. And honestly, it was not in our wheelhouse. And we had no experience on how to run a national program. And so here we are, you know, we are now 8 years old and growing and, you know, exponentially. And
You look a little older than me.
and so here we are growing and it's exciting.
You know, the interesting thing is, when I looked at this thing from a chemical, physiological standpoint, there were common denominators and reasons patients or people would fail on eating programs. And so it was based a little bit on the whole HCG phenomenon
Right.
that's so popular. And of
Right.
course, it worked.
Right.
And it worked and it was inexpensive. So therefore the government banned it. So we can't have something work inexpensive and people getting well. We built it as a weight loss program. Hands down, it was for the menopausal female. And then all the miracles started happening. Anti-inflammatory, inflammation just plummeted. Blood sugar stabilized dramatically. So people came off.
Gut health, improved gut health left
Absolutely.
and right.
CPAP machines were thrown away. It was just blood lipids would plummet. All these incredible things started happening.
It was exciting.
This is kind of cool, you know, because it was built for one thing and then it just took off in another direction.
Well, but even from the beginning, Todd was radically against 500 calories. We believe
Yeah,
that. That's
I my whole thing with that is anybody's going to lose weight
Well,
just going
sure.
down to 500 calories a day.
Well, that's eating.
There was some
disorder.
interesting science behind it. I studied Simeon's work extensively. And he did it in a hospital setting. It was
Right.
23 days in a hospital setting. He was
Yeah.
Englishman, but he practiced in Italy. And when you read his medical data, it was kind of interesting what he was trying to chemically create. Well, I took that same kind of thinking, but I could not be comfortable with that low of a calorie. I think it's unhealthy. I think you're going to pay in the end. So we developed a system of analysis using a simple urine specimen. We do a urine analysis, and we saw certain things show up. It is a very restricted caloric intake.
Right.
There is a restricted number of foods that you're on, but we would alter the diet. There's a bio-individuality to everybody that walks through the doctor's door. And if you don't respect that,
Of course, I'm not the same as you. You're not
Right.
the same as him.
And I
There's
think
no one
that's
size fits all.
I think that's what's great because you guys have your group on Facebook, the
Yes.
Shape Reclaimed.
Yes.
It's a support group.
Yes.
And you'll see comments and you'll see people talking about things and everybody pipes in and says, oh, well, I'm doing this. Or
we
people will,
pipe in.
or people will ask questions and everybody's going, you need to check with your doctor. You need to check with
Absolutely.
what you need specifically. Because for me, I was adding a half of an avocado in phase one, where not everybody, and it's not suggested to do it, but I needed that in me to be able to.
We say over and over and over again, SHAPE is not a one-size-fits-all program. It is built on that individuality, and we say to practitioners all the time, you're gonna tweak this program based on their total health history, how they're responding to the program, and what their urine is showing you. Hands down. That is it right there. So, you know, a practitioner can start a dozen people, you know, this day on the program, and I guarantee you within 3 or 4 weeks, based on bio-individuality, they're each maybe doing a little bit different. One may be having a little more protein. One may be having a different amount of fruit. It is, one may be adding in more fats. That is why our program is so successful, because our practitioners are working one-on-one with these people and helping to tweak the program to their unique metabolic need. So when somebody gets out on Facebook and says, my practitioner says I can have that, we'll go, whoa, okay, everybody, that doesn't mean you can. That might not work for you. Talk to your practitioner.
The other thing that I find to be interesting is with your program, you've got a couple of phases to it.
Yes.
And yes, you have phase one, but any practitioner that I have talked to will say, phase one will help you with the weight loss and the inflammation and the energy. But phase two is actually more important than phase one.
Absolutely.
Explain that.
So the 3 phases, you can think of this way. The first phase is basically a cleanse. And that's wonderful. The second phase is stabilization. How many of us have eaten 2 Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies and gained 2 pounds the next day?
I ate a sandwich yesterday.
How does that? You eat less than an ounce of food and gain 2 pounds. What happened in that body? So you should be able to eat 2 Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies and not gain weight. Okay, so obviously something was wrong with the system.
I can't eat them. They give me a headache so bad. I cannot eat Girl Scout cookies.
Don't slam the Girl Scouts.
I'm not slamming Girl Scouts. I love Girl Scouts.
So that stabilization phase is what occurs in phase 2. And then phase 3 is the rest of your life. Phase 3 is really the most important part if you really come down to it.
Right.
Have you changed your relationship with food?
Right.
And that
Absolutely.
is the
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Phase
That's what we're
one,
trying to
people
teach.
love phase 1 because phenomenal things happen. Their symptoms go away. Shedding excess weight, toxic weight. They don't understand the power of phase 2 where you literally have trained your brain to say, I can eat that and not gain weight. That's what happens in phase 2. Because you have to increase your calories because you can't stand this low caloric intake without the drops.
And we need carbs. So, you know,
Absolutely.
we've reduced carbs over here in phase 1, and we need to be able to slowly add foods back in. You know, we're never going to add peppers back in. We're not. Peppers do not agree with our body, so we never eat those.
Right.
But let's say somebody, they're eating phase 1 and they come into phase 2 and they add a banana, and all of a sudden, you know, their blood sugar freaks out a little bit. They gain 4 pounds overnight. Well, their body didn't appreciate that type of fruit sugar. So it's not that a banana is bad. A banana is great. We get great, you know, nutrition from it. But for that particular person, it might not have worked. So it's so critically important when you're going into phase 2 to continue working with your practitioner and be trying to find that balance point that, you know, it slowly add those things back in and see how your body's going to respond to that. It's a slow process.
This is where I always go back to when I'm coaching or when I'm working with somebody, is that it's not really the doctor that is healing you. It is you healing yourself.
Absolutely.
And you are responsible for being aware of how your body reacts because your doctor is not with you 24/7.
That's right.
And I think that that's where so many systems and programs out there miss that component. They don't train and teach you what to look for, how to identify things, and but by flushing everything out and then slowly adding things back in,
To see what
you
works.
really get
Right.
to see what it is.
works for you.
I've often said to patients, the best doctor in this room is inside of you. It's not me. And
Yeah.
I like it when they ask certain questions and I take them down this path that I know they're going to have an aha moment. I love that, to see a patient get it. And, one of my favorite ones is they're talking about supplements and what they should take. And I'll say, what do you think is the most important supplement? The most important one. I say, well, I've been reading about fish oil. I think it's really important. I say, yeah, it is, but I've been reading a lot about vitamin D. Oh yeah, me too. And about osteoporosis, and it's a pro-hormone and all this kind of stuff. And I say, you want me to tell you what the most important supplement is? And the ladies always grab their purse and they grab their pen and pencil. Guys go, huh? And I'll say, all right, here it is. This is the most important supplement. It's the one you're missing. And it's different for everybody. And that's that bio-individuality. Mm-hmm. The other thing I like to do with patients is we'll talk about comparing their body to a car. And we'll say that the car, I'll say, what's the most important part of your car? And they'll say, well, I guess it's the engine. And I said, well, yeah, that is. And a priest just.
I always take it as a heavenly sign.
The priest just walked by.
Well, we think it was a priest. Maybe it was.
It's an angel.
It's an angel. So I'll say, but how about tires? How about a key? How about a gas for your car? Well, what's your point, Doc? I said, my point is it's all important. There is no part of your body that's not important. There's no part of your health walk that's not important. It's all important. My favorite thing to do is to mess with the patient's head, not in a negative way, but to get them to have, again, that aha moment is, patient come in and say, Doc, I just can't lose weight. I go, boy, you're right. And they go, and they just.
They get incensed by his agreement.
But I'm here for that. I go, well, no, you're here for me to help you from a health standpoint. And part of that may be some, shedding some weight, but you just said you can't lose weight. What part of every cell of your body didn't hear that statement?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How powerful words are.
It's one of the greatest challenges that when I have somebody who comes in or I'm having a conversation with somebody and their weight becomes their number one thing.
They're hyper focused on it.
It is so focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit there and I go, it's not about the weight, it's about healthy, feeling
Absolutely.
good,
Yep.
being happy,
Yep.
loving yourself.
Absolutely.
Like that's where I go. And that and this is what I tell everybody, I go through all these things. Like I did shape.
Yeah, we're all human.
Yeah, and
we're all human.
I did shape. I had done it years ago. I actually did HCG and then I did shape, and I did it recently because I had gotten way off kilter. And one, if we're saying this is what we're doing, I like to go back through and experience it for myself to understand what the patients walking in the doors are going through. 1 week, I tell everybody, 1 week of just cleaning everything out of your system that does not belong there and stripping it down to these basic ingredients, you automatically feel different.
Yeah.
Automatic. I mean, and for me, that's where I look at it and I go, I love feeling like this, and I don't want to not have the energy, have the relationship that I have with me in all of this.
Well, what we love is, when people really get what shape is all about, that is.
So
it is.
The priest walked in, the rabbi walked out. So there's a joke here somewhere.
No,
It is. I love it. You never know what to expect when you're live.
So what we love is when people really, really get what shape is all about and embrace the shape lifestyle. We believe, periodically you need to do a detox and cleanse. You just need to do. And, when we put on what we call warrior events for the people that are doing the program, everybody thinks that we are like these purists and that we never have ice cream or we never go out for pizza.
One of us is
No, that is so not true.
Oh my gosh, that's like the conversation Greg and I just had yesterday. Because
that is so not true.
people think the same thing of us. This is the restaurant. Now, I eat here almost every single day because I know what it is. I crave it. I love it. It is my kind of food. But I had a sandwich on the hill yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not,
You don't feel as good today.
I don't feel as good today.
Right. Well, we really do, and have for decades. We clean. We just
Right.
really clean. We don't even think to bring in something that's all chemically processed. That's not even food to us.
Right.
That's just that's man-made monster stuff. So
Man-made monster. It's good. The 3M. Oh, that's what
create a
use.
t-shirt like that.
So, we really clean, but golly, we love to have ice cream. We love to go out for pizza. We
Right.
love to
Just don't do
go
it.
out to dinner and share a bottle of wine, but we just can't be doing that every day.
Right.
We are about teaching balance. We want people to clean it up, get their health back, get back into a healthy weight, be feeling vibrantly healthy, and find that balance point and be able to go have a little something and not lose themselves to the abyss where they can't reel it back in. We're thankful that we can
Right.
reel it back in.
Right.
We can.
So let's talk about where's the future? You've retired. You
Yeah,
have all of
I
these
did, didn't I?
doctors. I know.
One of us is retired.
So I bought a pontoon boat. You have to name your boat, and mine is licensed to chill.
That's good. What's the future of Shape? Where are we going with things?
It's an Old Testament comment that if you kind of keep your eye on the prize, kind of God will order your steps.
Mhm.
And we just feel God's ordering our steps. And where it's going to go is where our steps have been ordered to go. It will grow. We're trying to help more people. And everybody wins. The patient wins, the doctor wins, we win. This is a wonderful thing,
Yeah.
And we want to grow it. And things happen, like a restaurant like you comes to us and says, well, what's the shape? We want to have a shape
Right.
menu. And we're blown away by it. We're humbled by it and
Right.
terrified
Sure.
by some of the things that are happening. So we realize that there will be continued growth, and we want that to be. We also don't want to hold this thing so tight that we kill it.
Right.
So we have some things that we have to do. We have some other products. I realized that the brain needed help beyond good diet and our drops. So I developed a product called Mood Reclaim. It's got rhodiola, it's got maca, it's got holy basil leaf in it, which is an Ayurvedic herb that has a adaptogenic effect. And basically, if you're depressed, it brings you up. If you're anxious, it brings you down.
I need to try it.
Yeah.
I need to try it.
People
Right.
complain they don't have energy. Rhodiola is a great
Right.
tonic for energy. There's always the sexual health, and there's red Peruvian maca in there. Most maca on the market is junk.
Mhm.
We have a super high quality. The guy that makes our product, the guy's name is Robert Cass, just a genius and a dear friend now. We just are coming out with a couple of remedies specifically for just stabilizing the endocrine system of the male and the female. Not that we're giving them hormones. We just
Right.
want the messages to go properly in the body. This messaging system that starts with the hypothalamus. Again, back to our
Mhm.
original
Right.
conversation.
Those products, didn't give the name, those products are going to be called feminine reclaimed and masculine reclaimed. So
The-
we're real close to rolling those out.
Okay.
And the last thing is sleep. I believe that if you don't sleep, your metabolism is going to go in the tank. So I'm working with Dr. Cass on sleep reclaim. Imagine that. Where'd that come from?
Right.
Now, here's the
We're reclaiming health. That's what
Yeah.
we're all about, reclaiming health.
So we also have something called self-reclaim. We realize that there are people that need to look at this thing from a psychological standpoint. So we have a kind of a doc in the box. It's beautifully done. It's absolutely exquisite. It came from a dream that I had, and in the dream, I remember waking up in Whitefish, Montana.
We're in Whitefish, Montana.
It's at 4 a.m, and I'm spouting this dream out, and Linda's going, "Oh my goodness!" And she's typing as fast.
I
as
grabbed
she-
my iPad and just start typing.
So the
Because
book-
I'm like, something is coming out of
Yeah.
this man that I need to capture.
So the book had to be 33 chapters. Each chapter was one word, and it was just a remarkable thing. Well, time goes forward. It's I know I should write this book, which I never did.
So many things.
Well,
we're
he's
doing.
retired now,
Yeah,
so he's got plenty.
well, the interesting thing is, as self-reclaimed came out, there were 33 chapters.
33 words.
33 words.
Oh my gosh, I
So
love it.
we teamed up with a psychologist and social worker, his wife's social worker, and then a naturopath, and his wife is
PhD. She has PhD.
she also has PhD. So there's 6 authors, and we just created this thing called Self-Reclaimed, and it's 33 words. You look at the word, and it's based on the allegory of a caterpillar wanting to become a butterfly, and you can't just leap over the chrysalis, the cocoon. You have to go inside. You have to change.
You have to do the work.
You have to do the work, and then you can come out a butterfly.
So I'm going to tell you what's coming to me now, and we can all, I'm just going to have it on camera. What if you came up with a certified coaches program?
Wow, we
That-
just absolutely had a major team meeting yesterday. You know, when we started, it was Todd and I, and now we.
It was all about me.
Always. And so now we are a team of 10. And so we had a big team meeting yesterday, and we talked about, we get a lot of health coaches that contact us that want to be shape practitioners, but they don't carry the type of credential that we allow to be a freestanding shape practitioner. But these health coaches can certainly take our self-reclaimed and work with those people. Look, if we don't help people change their relationship with food,
That's exactly what it comes down to.
And so many people that are struggling, it's because they're really breaking up. They're trying to break up with these, what they think is their food friend, but it's truly the enemy.
Well,
It's taking them down the
They're
wrong
married to,
path.
they don't want to break up. They don't want
Yes.
to divorce. this
Right.
food.
Well, food is so emotional. I
It
mean,
is.
and it
It
is
is.
with
We
every
need to
holiday
honor
and
that.
celebration.
That-
Exactly.
That's okay to honor.
Exactly.
It's okay to eat the turkey. It's okay to have the pumpkin pie. It's okay to do all
Right.
those things. And to
And not feel guilty
but
afterwards.
to look at a piece of pie come in your face, oh, I shouldn't do this, shouldn't do this, and
Right.
gobble the whole thing
It's
up.
the
Then you're gonna
energy
feel so
that
bad.
you sent to your
Right.
body with that mentality.
Well, I'm going to say this to you because
Okay.
I my background is in life coaching. So I'm interested in working with you guys and
Okay.
creating
We'll
that
do it.
and helping train other coaches with it because
Okay.
that's one of my passions.
Well,
and
So that's where it's going. It's going
yeah, see,
organically.
we just keep
You just
putting
went this-
everything
Well,
out
you
there.
know, yesterday, that was the very thing. We said, our responsibility at this point with where we are with shape is digging into the emotional component. Our program works no matter what.
Right.
Do our program, it works. You'll have success no matter what. But if we don't get to that underlying emotional attachment to these toxic foods that are destroying your health and help you realize you've got to do something different, then we're just going to be another program that fails. And so that's where we want to evolve. And coming on board, you guys coming on board as our first certified restaurant, we're so excited about it. There is a level of social isolation when a person does our program because they're doing great, they're feeling better, they don't want to mess up their program, so they turn down invitations with their friends and family to go out to eat because they know they can't eat clean, they can't eat anti-inflammatory. And so our new restaurant certification mark is Shape Reclaimed Anti-Inflammatory Program. So we're so excited to really just continue raising the bar and educating people. We want people to be social.
Yeah.
Food is a part of everything wonderful about life.
Yeah.
So if we can get Shape certified restaurants in every community that there are shape practitioners, those folks are going to just thrive. They're not going to feel so isolated.
And people don't eat at the same restaurant all the time.
Absolutely.
So they want to be able to go places and feel safe.
Right.
We're going to go ahead and wrap this
I don't want
episode.
to.
I know, it's so
Let's do
much
another
fun,
half hour.
isn't it? I know. I'm going to have you guys back on. We're going to do some more together. How is SymBowl helping when it comes to Shape Reclaimed? One, we have the certified menu. We've had the menu ever since we opened up,
Now it's legal.
but now it's legal. We got the stamp of approval.
We finally got our act together.
It's all good. So it is a blessing that we're coming together.
We're thrilled.
Greg is working on some products that hopefully will have that stamp of approval on it as well. That will help
You've heard of this?
people out there. And then I believe you guys know Ashley's on board. Ashley is working with you guys. If you're familiar with Ashley Nanny, she owned Feed Your Vitality. And between this whole conversation, the question was, how do you supply food to your patients more conveniently with her stopping her program?
Right.
So we're picking that program up
Awesome.
and doing the meal planning for Shape Reclaimed.
Wow, this is a win. This is a win-win for the St. Louis community because people are still going to be able to have food delivery if they choose.
We're not going to be
do that.
delivering. That will be
Oh,
the
they'll
one
pick
thing.
it up?
But we've got the 3 locations.
But that's
Yeah.
perfect. But
yeah.
that'll work. you know,
She delivered to certain locations.
Yeah, she delivered.
So
to
we're working with her. We're executing it with our menu, taking her direction based off of what her top
Right.
sellers were. And we'll be building this. It's not going to happen all overnight,
Right.
but we will start offering that in July. So
Wow, that's exactly. Well, this is such a win-win because, you know, Ashley's legacy of what she started to help shape patients in our community is going to continue. And we are crazy blessed that Ashley's coming on board with us because, look, we know how to help sick people get well. That's our clinical strength. But Ashley's got this, you know, with restaurants and food and food prep and all. So we are so honored that she's coming on board. She is now the director of culinary development. So when you say what's the future of Shape, the future of Shape is we want to get into restaurants. So if any of you guys out there have a restaurant in town that you're going to and you're manipulating their menu, help us.
yeah.
We want them to become Shape certified, and Ashley will go in and help, and we will officially, you know, we're hoping to get restaurants to offer like 3 to 5.
Yeah.
You guys have all different kinds.
And we've already kind of talked to a couple of them just because we know that they've been involved with Shape and we've connected them with Ashley. So this is going to be continuing to grow here in St. Louis immediately.
Yes.
And then surrounding areas and out of state as well. So we're going to wrap this up. Ashley will actually be our guest speaker at next month's Healthy Hour on July 17th at our Chesterfield location. I'll put the link in there. So if you're interested in attending that, I do promise if you have a question or you put a comment in, we will go back and respond to that as well. Thank you again.
Oh, thank
Thank
so
you
much.
for joining us
Appreciate
on
it. We
this
love it.
week's Functional Friday, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.